Verse for opening a sutra. The unsurpassed profound and wonderful Dharma is difficult to encounter in hundreds of millions of aeons. I now see and hear it, receive and uphold it, and I vow to fathom the Tathagata's true meaning. The Flower Adornment Sutra, Chapter 1. The Wondrous Adornments of the Rulers of the Worlds. Sutra. Moreover, forest ruling spirit spreading flowers like clouds, gain a passage into liberation of an oceanic treasury of vast, great, boundless wisdom. Forest ruling spirit helping trunks grow tall and pouring forth light, gain a passage into liberation of extensively cultivating purity on a universal scale. Forest ruling spirit producing sprouts and emitting radiance, gain a passage into liberation of causing sprouts of various kinds of pure faith to grow. Forest ruling spirit, auspicious pure leaves, gain a passage into liberation of amassing all kinds of purity, merit and virtue and adornment. Forest ruling spirit overhanging resplendent treasury, gain a passage into liberation of constantly beholding the entire Dhamma realm through a universal gateway of pure wisdom. Forest ruling spirit, wondrous adorned radiance, gain a passage into liberation of universally knowing the ocean of all sentient beings' practices and creating Dharma clouds. Forest ruling spirit, delightful thunder sound, gain a passage into liberation of enduring all unpleasant sounds and uttering pure sounds. Forest ruling spirit, pervasive glow and perfume, gain a passage into liberation of universally displaying in the 10 directions the state of vast, great practices cultivated in the past. Forest ruling spirit, wondrous light, unique and sparkling, gain a passage into liberation of using all dharmas of merit and virtue to benefit those in the world. Forest ruling spirit, luster and flavor of flowers and fruits, gain a passage into liberation of being adorned with the treasury of merit and virtue gained through enabling everyone to see the Buddhas appear and to recollect them with constant reverence and never forget them. At that time, forest ruling spirit spreading flowers like clouds received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of forest ruling spirits, and spoke the following verse. In the past, the Buddha cultivated practices for Bodhi, achieving perfect blessings, virtue, and wisdom. Fully endowed with all of the powers, he emerges in the world with resplendent light. The thus come one in the past, universally purified, limitless ways of compassion, equal to the number of sentient beings, and so he can benefit beings in the world. The spirit helping trunks grow tall understands thus. If beings see the Buddha but once, he will surely lead them into the sea of deep faith, universally showing them the path of the thus come ones. This is the liberation of the spirit wondrous sprouts. The merit and virtue, accumulated in a single pore, could not completely be described in oceans of aeons. The expedient means of the Buddhas are inconceivable. Pure Leaves understands this profound meaning. I recollect how the thus come one in the past made offerings to limitless Buddhas in lands like dust motes. Before each and every Buddha, his wisdom gradually grew bright. The spirit resplendent treasury understands thus. In a single thought, the thus come one fully apprehends the ocean of the actions of all sentient beings. Such vast, great, unobstructed wisdom is understood by the spirit wondrous adorned. The thus come one's tranquil, exquisite voice proclaims forever, evoking matchless great happiness in everyone, comprehending according to their inclinations, each becomes enlightened. This is the method or practice of thunder sound. Manifesting great spiritual powers, the thus come one extends throughout every land in the 10 directions, enabling all to see the Buddha's past cultivation. Pervasive glow and perfume enters this passage. Sentient beings are deceitful and do not cultivate virtue. Confused, they sink and flounder in birth and death. For them he elucidates all principles of wisdom. The spirit wondrous light perceives thus. The Buddha, for beings laden with karmic obstructions, appears but once every hundreds of millions of aeons. At other times he is still visible to them in thought after thought. The spirit luster and flavor thus observes. Moreover, mountain ruling spirit blooming jewel peak gain a passage into liberation of entering the light of the samadhi of great tranquility. Mountain ruling spirit flower grove wondrous top knot gain a passage into liberation of bringing an inconceivable number of sentient beings to maturity through the cultivation of good roots of kindness. Mountain ruling spirit lofty banner, universally shining, gain a passage into liberation of contemplating the minds of all sentient beings to see what they enjoy and then adorning and purifying all faculties. Mountain ruling spirit immaculate pure top knot gain a passage into liberation of being diligent and vigorous throughout boundless oceans of aeons without growing weary or lax. Mountain ruling spirit light shining through the 10 directions gain a passage into liberation of using the light of boundless merit and virtue to universally awaken beings. Mountain ruling spirit light of great strength gain a passage into liberation of gaining full personal maturity and then enabling sentient beings to renounce foolish and confused behavior. Mountain ruling spirit universally supreme awesome brilliance gain a passage into liberation of eradicating all suffering until none is left. Mountain ruling spirit orb of subtle concentrated light gain a passage into liberation of using light to expound the Dharma, revealing the merit and virtue of all the thus come ones. Mountain ruling spirit universal eye seeing the manifest gain a passage into liberation of causing all sentient beings to grow in good roots, even in their dreams. Mountain ruling spirit solid Vajra eyes gain a passage into liberation of making appear an ocean of boundless great meanings. At that time, mountain ruling spirit blossoms all around, received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, contemplated all the multitudes of mountain ruling spirits, and spoke the following verse. Boundless supreme practices cultivated in the past now yield spiritual penetrations beyond measure, extensively opening Dharma doors in number like motes of dust. The Buddha brings all sentient beings to deep, joyful awakening. His body, adorned with myriad hallmarks, pervades all worlds. Light issues from his pores, purifying everything. With expedients of great kindness he instructs all. Flower grove wondrous top knot awakens to this passage. The Buddha's body appears everywhere boundless, spreading to fill the worlds of the 10 directions. His faculties are adorned and pure, delighting all who see him. Lofty banner understands and enters this Dharma. He practiced intensely for aeons without growing lax. Untainted by worldly things, he resembles space. With various skillful means he transforms the flocks of beings. The one named jewel top knot awakens to this Dharma door. Blind and in the dark, sentient beings enter dangerous paths. Out of pity, the Buddha shines his light upon them, waking everyone in the world from their slumbers. Upon realizing this, awesome light is jubilant. He cultivated extensively in all realms of existence, making offerings to Buddhas as countless as dust motes in lands. Upon seeing him, sentient beings bring forth great vows. Great strength understands and enters this ground. He witnesses the misery of sentient beings in transmigration, perpetually caught up in all their karmic hindrances. With wisdom's radiance he extinguishes their woes. The spirit universally supreme is liberated thus. Wondrous sounds issue from each and every pore, praising the Buddhas in accord with sentient beings' hearts. This lasts for measureless aeons throughout the 10 directions. Orb of light enters this passage. The Buddha appears all throughout the 10 directions. Using various expedients, he speaks the wonderful Dharma. With an ocean of practices, he benefits beings widely. The spirit seeing the manifest awakens thus. Dharma doors as boundless and measureless as the ocean are spoken with a single sound, yet understood by all. The Buddha expounds endlessly throughout every aeon. Vajra eyes enters this expedient means. Moreover, earth-ruling spirit, pure flower of universal virtue, gain a passage into liberation, of universally contemplating all sentient beings in thought after thought, with a compassionate heart. Earth-ruling spirit, solid blessings and adornment, gain a passage into liberation, of universally making appear all sentient beings' powers of blessings and virtue. Earth-ruling spirit, wondrous flowers, ornamenting trees, gain a passage into liberation, of universally entering all dharmas and producing the adornments of all Buddha lands. Earth-ruling spirit, universally scattering the myriad gems, gain a passage into liberation, of cultivating all kinds of samadhis, enabling sentient beings to cast off obstructive defilements. Earth-ruling spirit, pure eyes contemplating time, gain a passage into liberation, of enabling all sentient beings to always travel about in joyful play. Earth-ruling spirit, golden color and wondrous eyes, gain a passage into liberation, of displaying all kinds of pure bodies to tame and subdue sentient beings. Earth-ruling spirit, fragrant shining hairs, gain a passage into liberation, of understanding the sea of merit and virtue, and the tremendous awesome power of all Buddhas. Earth-ruling spirit, delightful still sounds, gain a passage into liberation, of universally gathering in the sea of all sentient being sounds of speech. Earth-ruling spirit, top-knot, of exquisite flowers, gain a passage into liberation, of perceiving the immaculate nature, filling up the lands of Buddhas. Earth-ruling spirit, universally supported by Vajra, gain a passage into liberation, of seeing the universal appearance of those who are gathered in and supported by the Dharma wheels of all Buddhas. At that time, earth-ruling spirit, pure flower of universal virtue, received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of earth-ruling spirits, and spoke the following verse. The thus come one in thought after thought in the past, employed ineffable means of great kindness and compassion, cultivating in this way without end, he thereby attained a solid, indestructible body. Sentient beings and bodhisattvas in the 3 periods of time, as well as all the blessings accumulated, are fully manifest in the thus come one's pause. Blessings and adornment sees this and rejoices. Within a samadhi that is vast, great, and tranquil, unborn, undying, neither coming nor going, the Buddha adorns and purifies lands and instructs beings. This is the liberation of the spirit tree's flowers. The Buddha cultivated every sort of practice in the past to help sentient beings eradicate their heavy obstacles. Earth-ruling spirit universally scattering the myriad gems sees this liberation and gives rise to joy. The realm of the Thus Come One has no bounds. In thought after thought, he appears everywhere in all worlds. Earth-ruling spirit, pure eyes contemplating time, observes the Buddha's deeds and rejoices in his heart. Wondrous sounds, limitless and inconceivable, universally extinguish afflictions of sentient beings. The spirit golden color eyes awakens to this and sees the Buddha's boundless supreme merit and virtue. The Buddha manifests transformations of all shapes and forms, filling up the 10 directions of the Dharma realm. Fragrant shining hairs often observes the Buddha, universally transforming sentient beings in this manner. His wondrous voice extends throughout the 10 directions, speaking to the multitudes for measureless aeons. Having understood in her heart the earth spirit delightful, feels deep reverence and joy in listening to the Buddha. Fragrant, blazing clouds issue from the Buddha's paws, and according to sentient beings' wishes pervade the world. All who behold this become mature. Coiled flowers contemplates thus, sturdy and indestructible as Vajra, immovable as Mount Sumeru. Thus does the Buddha's body dwell in the world, universally supported, sees this and rejoices. Moreover, city ruling spirit jewel peak illumination, gain a passage into liberation, of expediently benefiting sentient beings. City ruling spirit wondrously adorning palaces, gain a passage into liberation, of knowing sentient beings' faculties and teaching and transforming them to bring them to maturity. City ruling spirit pure jewels of joy, gain a passage into liberation, of constantly delighting in enabling all sentient beings to enjoy blessings and virtue. City ruling spirit pure and free from worry, gain a passage into liberation, of a treasury of great compassion that delivers beings from all fear. City ruling spirit flower lamps and blazing eyes, gain a passage into liberation, of universal understanding and great wisdom. City ruling spirit clear manifestation, of blazing banners, gain a passage into liberation, of expediently manifesting everywhere. City ruling spirit flourishing blessings, awesome brightness, gain a passage into liberation, of universally contemplating all sentient beings and helping them to cultivate a vast sea of blessings and virtue. City ruling spirit body of pure radiance, gain a passage into liberation, of enlightening all foolish and dim-witted sentient beings. City ruling spirit fragrant call, adornment, gain a passage into liberation, of contemplating how the Thus Come One's sovereign power pervasively tames sentient beings in all worlds. City ruling spirit jewel peak bright eyes, gain a passage into liberation, of using brilliant light to smash the mountain of all sentient beings' obstructions. At that time, city ruling spirit jewel peak illumination received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, contemplated all the multitudes of city ruling spirits, and spoke the following verse. The guiding master is thus inconceivable. His light pervasively illumines the 10 directions. Every sentient being sees the Buddha appear before him. Innumerable beings are taught, transformed, and brought to maturity. Every sentient being's disposition is unique. The Buddha understands them all without exception. City ruling spirit wondrously adorning palaces enters this Dharma door and rejoices in her heart. The thus come one cultivated through measureless aeons, protecting and upholding the Dharma of past Buddhas, constantly focusing on reverent practice brought him joy. The city spirit Wondrous Jewels awakens to this passage. The thus come one has long had the ability to rid all sentient beings of fear and terror, and to feel constant kindness and compassion for them. The spirit free from worry has this joyful awakening. The wisdom of the Buddha is vast and boundless. Like the void, it cannot be measured. The city spirit Flower Eyes has this blissful insight and learns the thus come one's wondrous wisdom. The thus come one's forms are equal to the number of sentient beings. According to their inclinations, all are caused to see him. Clear manifestation of blazing banners realizes this. Practicing this expedient makes her happy. The thus come one cultivated a sea of many blessings, pure, vast, great, and without boundaries. Blessings and virtue banner light, contemplates and understands this passage with joy. Deluded beings in the realms of existence are like those born blind in the world who see nothing at all. For their benefit, the Buddha appears in the world. Pure radiant spirit enters this passage. The thus come one's self-mastery is boundless. Like a cloud, it spreads pervasively through all worlds. He even appears in dreams to tame and subdue beings. Fragrant banner thus observes. Dark and deluded sentient beings are as if blind, shrouded by various obstacles and coverings. The Buddha's light shines through, opening their wisdom. Jeweled peak enters thus. Moreover, Bodhimanda spirit banner of pure adornment gain a passage into liberation, of manifesting great power of vows, to make offerings of vast great adornments to Buddhas. Bodhimanda spirit Sumeru jeweled brilliance gain a passage into liberation, of appearing before all sentient beings and accomplishing vast practices of Bodhi. Bodhimanda spirit thunderclap and banner-like characteristics gain a passage into liberation, of according with what sentient beings like, and enabling them to see the Buddha speak Dharma for them in their dreams. Bodhimanda spirit raining down flowers, wondrous eyes, gain a passage into liberation, of raining down all kinds of adornments made of a myriad treasures that are hard to give up. Bodhimanda spirit pure blazing form, gain a passage into liberation, of displaying marvelously adorned Bodhimandas for the sake of extensively transforming sentient beings and bringing them to maturity. Bodhimanda spirit flower garlands draped from the core gain a passage into liberation, of speaking Dharma according to beings' faculties, so that they produce proper thoughts. Bodhimanda spirit raining down jeweled ornaments gain a passage into liberation, of everywhere raining down boundless aspects of happiness by means of eloquence. Bodhimanda spirit heroic fragrance and vision gain a passage into liberation, of extensively praising the merit and virtue of the Buddhas. Bodhimanda spirit Vajra-colored cloud gain a passage into liberation, of making appear trees of boundless shapes and colors to adorn Bodhimanda. Bodhimanda spirit lotus flower brilliance gain a passage into liberation, of being still and serene beneath the Bodhi tree, and yet pervading the 10 directions. Bodhimanda spirit dazzling wondrous light gain a passage into liberation, of manifesting the various powers of the thus come one. At that time, Bodhimanda spirit banner of pure adornment received the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, universally contemplated the multitudes of Bodhimanda spirits, and spoke the following verse. I recollect how the thus come one, in ages past, cultivated throughout limitless aeons, making offerings to every Buddha appearing in the world. He accrued merit and virtue as great as space. The Buddha did practice infinite acts of giving, equal in number to fine dust motes in measureless lands. The Bodhi spirit, named Sumeru Brilliant Illumination, recollects the well-gone one with jubilation. The dust come one's forms are endless. His transformations circulate through all lands. Even in dreams he makes constant appearances. Thunder Banner is delighted to see this. In the practice of giving during measureless aeons in the past, the Buddha gave an oceanic quantities of eyes, which are so hard to give. He practiced giving in this manner for the sake of sentient beings. Wondrous Eye's spirit awakens thus and rejoices. His boundless forms, like precious, resplendent clouds, appear in Bodhi places throughout all worlds. Bodhimanda spirit, pure blazing form, happily observes the Buddha's self-mastery. Boundless is the ocean of sentient beings' deeds. The Buddha reigns a Dharma reign everywhere, dispelling delusions according to their faculties and understanding. Flower garlands awakens thus with delight. Measureless Dharma doors, each distinct in meaning. The Buddha can enter with eloquence like a vast ocean. Bodhimanda spirit raining down jeweled ornaments. Always recollects thus in thought after thought. Throughout all lands unspeakable in number, the Buddha used the epitome of praises to laud all Buddhas, thus achieving renown and great merit. The spirit heroic vision thus recalls. Boundless trees of various shapes and forms all appear beneath the Bodhi tree, the king of trees. Vajra-colored cloud awaken and make this passage, and joyfully constantly beholds the tree of the way. Just as the boundaries of the 10 directions are beyond our grasp, so too is the wisdom of the Buddha seated in the Bodhimanda. Lotus flowers' step brilliance gives rise to pure faith and enters this liberation with deep delight. Marvelous sounds issue from everything in the Bodhimanda, praising the Buddha's inconceivable pure strength and bringing to success all practices at the level of planting causes. Wondrous like spirit hears and receives thus.